Monday, beautiful people. We are coming to you not from, I'm not at family reunion. So I love the pictures. I've loved seeing all of my agents. I hope you guys are having an amazing time down there. I am here in Connecticut with Snowpocalypse 2.0. So that's what I'm enjoying today. How are you doing in Georgia today, Miss Carissa?
It is cold as well. I do not have snow apocalypse. It is sunny and cold here. I was telling Josie right before we jumped on Friday, it was so hot that I had to put my air conditioning back on, and I was trying not to just because, you don't want to flip back and forth. But then this morning I woke up and it was like 28 degrees. So that goes to show you we went from like 80 something in Georgia to 20 something within a couple of days. So because we are getting the aftermath of whatever they're getting up there, and it's windy, and but the sun's out. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, we ain't got no sun here right now, but that's okay. That's okay. That is okay. So today I put in the caption, like, how do you eat an elephant, right? Because that's a question that I feel like people hear often, maybe not often, but you've heard most likely before, right? And what's the answer, Miss Carissa?
It is one piece at a time, one bite at a time, because
Exactly.
guys, I mean, this has been heavy on my heart just because it's something that I mean, we all deal with it, right? There's not one of us in this world that has not put something off, right? Because of overwhelm, stress, all of the above. But I'm going to share a little secret with you that there is a huge gap between knowing and doing. The knowing is what stresses you out, guys, right? The knowing the problem, whether it's a financial problem, whether it's a work problem, whatever it may be. Maybe you have to make some appointments for your doctor. You have to think about that every day until you do it, right? You don't even necessarily have to have the answer and it all solved, but the fact that you are moving in the right direction is going to help relieve that stress because you will literally die from stress, right? You're not going to
Mhm.
die from making an appointment. You're not going to die from figuring out your finances because guess what? If it is financial issues, the problem is there whether you look at it or not, and it's not going away on its own. There's nobody going to come in and rescue you. So you have to start doing even if it's 10 minutes a day, right? So if you were like, I'm going to get my budget right, I don't know where I'm spending all my money, I need to look. For me, it was like, I didn't want to look at I'm going to be transparent. I didn't want to look at my finances and see like what reoccurring charges I had and memberships and all of the above because once I look at it, it's gonna be like, oh my God, I'm spending this much per month for how many months? And I could have solved this a year ago when I thought about it and didn't. Like,
Yeah. And I'm cracking up when you said just calling a doctor because that's me. Like there was a couple doctors that I've been putting off calling and I'll send the reminder to myself. So that's the thing. Like I'm the way I remind myself is usually I will email myself a reminder to my work email because I'm good about clearing those, right? If it's not important enough, it gets pushed and pushed and pushed. So there's doctors where I've been meaning to reach out for months because it's not that it's not important, but it's not important enough, right? And so you make time for the things that are important to you. And so that popped up in my mind earlier today. We were on a team meeting, and the reality is that you could say, oh, I don't have time to do an open house. I don't have time to call 100 people this week or whatever, right? But if I said, hey, I have a free ticket to go to, I don't know, Mexico this weekend, like all expenses paid for 3 days. Like, can you come? Like would you make the time, right? So maybe not that, but something that like the reality is that these things pop up where we'll say, oh, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. But then if the right opportunity or the right thing presents itself to you, you'll make the time, right? Just like not missing your kid's sports game or like a birthday, like ideally, hopefully, most of us will prioritize things like that, right? You'll make the time. So how can you then also just make the time to do the things for your business that you do need to do, right? And I think that's part of what Chris is saying, like not to wait so that it's so overwhelming and it gets to a point where you just feel like you can't catch up, right? Because I like to think of it like you'll never be caught up. When people ask me, "Are you
True.
busy?" My answer is almost always the same, yes. But it doesn't mean like if I answered the call, then that means that I have time for you, right? I'm never not busy. There's always something to do.
Mhm.
And it might be stuff that's been on my to-do list on the back burner, right? But there's always something that I could be doing. It doesn't mean I always need to be doing something. Yes, there's also times where you could be taking a rest break or whatever the case is, but there's always stuff that we could be doing. There's always more we could be learning. There's always more we could be trying out, right? New ideas for our businesses and things like that. And so, like, that question is just not a question that sits well with me, right? And it doesn't mean that I need to feel overwhelmed all the time either, right? That's where I think it's important to understand how to prioritize and to just like chip away at things piece by piece.
Absolutely. And I mean, we can probably all relate to that CRM, right? The CRM where tasks pop up and we ignore them. And then we look at our CRM and the notifications, and there's like 3,204. And we are like, well, there's no way I'm making a dent in that. So I'm just going to keep ignoring. Most
Right.
of us can relate to that, right? But what you need to really look at is Josie made a good point. When you say you're too busy for something, it's never that you're too busy. It's just not a priority to you for some reason, right? And the priority, it's not a priority to you for multiple reasons. And everybody's different. But for some, I want you to look at, am I just doing this because people say I should, and that's why it's not a priority to me. Like I'm talking about open houses. Sometimes they work in your area, sometimes they don't, right? So if you have never had a return on an open house, that's why you're not prioritizing it. So maybe you get back to the drawing board and figure out either A, what are you doing that's not working at the open house and you're not getting results, or B, is it worth your time in your area, or is it just something that does not work in your area? Because we put things on our plate because we should be doing them, but we're not a one size fits all. So constantly reevaluate what's on your to do and what's stressing you out, because you are going to stress out, be like, oh, I know I needed to do this and I needed to do that. And it's for no reason, because you can just eliminate it and be like, I'm just not ever going to do it. So stop putting it on my to do that I have to keep ignoring every day. Right. So look
Right.
at it like that. I mean, really, it's got to be a point where, yes, some things you can't ignore, period. Your finances, there's that they're never going to go away. And that has to be prioritized, because if not, you'll be sitting and looking back and saying, I wish I would have done this a year ago because I could have saved $320 a month times a year is a whole freaking vacation. And I just said I can't even go on a vacation. That's a lie. The lie is that I didn't prioritize my finances and take that money and put it towards a vacation.
Right. Right. Because it's a perfect example. Like last year, my brother reached out. I think it was beginning of last year. He wanted to do a big 40th birthday cruise, right? Now, if someone had randomly come up to me and said, "Hey, can you spend, I don't know what it is, $4,000 or whatever to come on a cruise?" I'd probably be like, "Nah, that's not in the works." But it's my brother's 40th birthday, and it's going to be a huge friends and family cruise, and I have a great travel agent, and so like we worked it out, right? Like made a payment plan, and that's that, right? Because it's important enough to me. And the reality is, if it was a trip that I was kind of like, then I probably would have been like, oh no, that's really not gonna quite pan out, right? Um, it's a quote that I've seen kind of in alignment with making things a priority, where the opposite, right? So instead of saying I'm too busy for that, try saying it's not a priority, right? So like if I'm gonna use the kid example again. I don't even have kids, but I still love all my nieces and nephews. And yet, if your kid wants you to come to their recital, right? And are you gonna say, "Oh, work is just slammed and I can't make it"? Try saying it's not a priority.
Sits
See how
different,
that
right?
feels, right? What'd you say? Sorry.
It sits completely different. So
Right.
then you're able to look at it and figure out what you are saying that to, truthfully, because
Right.
you are saying that it's not a priority by not going.
Right.
And you hit it on the head though. Most of the time, what gets backburnered are the stuff that is for you, like doctor's appointments, and your family, unfortunately. Like they are the
Hmm.
ones who get put in the background, but then you have to really remember again why you're doing this. You're doing this for a better life for your family. And studies show your kids, husband, family, friends would rather have time with you than a gift from you, right? So it might be just time to look at your priorities and reconvene.
Right. Um, Even on our free, so on our free resources page, we have one of the resources that I feel like I mentioned this recently. It's a daily task list. I've talked about this a lot with some coaching clients, so I might be having deja vu. But so on this daily task list, we've mentioned it in classes we've taught before and things. It's got priority blocks, right? And at the very top, before you kind of figure out the rest of your day, like it's literally there's time blocks that you can use, right? But there's a one thing, and I say it all the time, every single day. If you just pick your one thing that you're going to commit to doing for that one day, regardless of what life may throw at you, you're like, it might be 9 o'clock at night, but if it was the one thing you committed to doing, you're going to get it done, right? Do that every single day and imagine how much progress you would have in all areas like of your business, right? And so for me today, my one thing was getting caught up on RSVPs for our upcoming buyer seminar, and I've already done it. So once I'm done with my other appointments, I can choose to kind of just right? Or I can continue with other things that I wanted to get done today, but my one thing has been completed. And if the
Right.
day went sideways and a whole bunch of things came at me and I realized it was 7 o'clock at night and I still hadn't gone and pulled that Eventbrite list, I would be doing it at 7 o'clock at night, right? And that is a way that I have been able to get myself to honor certain like work commitments, right, to myself. So I challenge you to go grab that from the free resources page and use it. When I first started, I used something similar literally every single day, probably for at least the first 6 months to a year of when I first started in real estate. And I would put the tasks out, right? And so now that's just become a habit for me. So whether I write it out or not, every single day I always know what's that one thing that I absolutely need to get done today, right? What is my true priority for the day? And come hell or high water, I'm going to get that one thing done.
Yep. I agree. And when Josie says the one thing, it has to be something that impacts your business, guys. It can't be drinking a cup of coffee. Because listen, the girl here would be super successful if drinking a cup of coffee moved the needle. Because that's one thing I will prioritize. I always have time for coffee. There's no day that goes by that I don't have time. So when you are making those, look at your task list or your duties and look at the one thing that is going to help move the needle the most out of all of them that has to get done.
hmm And this does also kind of tie into our class that we're teaching next week, I think, because February is a short month. Yeah, next Wednesday on March 4th, we're teaching a class around time management, and it was not our intention for this to tie to that. And yet a lot of the things that we do in our businesses tie back to our ability to manage our time and manage our schedule, right? Which is why it's such an important class, right? So mastering your calendar is what it's called. It's a free class, so we encourage you to join us. It'll be recorded, so the recording will be available afterwards as well. But it really is about figuring out what's important to you. How can you prioritize your day so that you're getting the important things done? I'm big about talking about your joy zones. So like I don't want to just work myself to death. I'm not here to do that, right? Like how can I stay in a space where I'm working to fulfill the things that are important to me? So yeah, I would
Exactly. Because
invite you to join
again,
us.
why are we doing this? Keep reminding yourself, why am I doing this?
Absolutely. So with that said, we hope that you go download that task list. Again, free resources page, the Real Estate Operations Institute.com. Think about just eating that elephant one tiny little baby bite at a time. And think about your priorities, what's important to you.
That's it. Well, hope you guys got a little something out of this because I know I did. I do every time I talk about it. So, hope y'all have a great day.
Stay warm, stay safe if you're in New England, stay out of the snow.
Yes.
All right, bye guys.